Chris Lexi, and I'm sitting next to another legend, Dr. Tyler. Hi, Doctor. Tyler.
Hello, sir. Thank you so much for chatting with me.
Of course, thanks for sitting down. Can you give our audience a little background on who you are, what you do, where you come from?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Dr. Tyler Pansner, born and raised Long Island, New York, and I got my PhD in cellular and molecular pharmacology. So an expert in how cells function normally, what happens to them that makes them diseased, and also an expert in how drugs, vitamins, supplements affect cells themselves. So I worked for a clinical genomics company after I finished my PhD 2 years ago, and realized I didn't like the whole corporate side of the genetics, how they're doing that. They're looking at genetics to figure out how you can use genetics to find the right drug to treat a disease. I kind of spun that around on its head and figured out, why are we figuring out what the genetics are for a cancer cell? Let's check our healthy cells and figure out what's going wrong with them genetically, so we can give them the right nutrients they need. Certain people's cells need more of certain nutrients, and they can be sensitive to others. So that one size fits all model for medicine, I think a lot of people are really sick and tired of being sick and tired. So about a year ago, I launched my own, I call it holistic genetic health optimization. So looking at the root cause drivers of whether it's your headache or your gut issues or your bloating, these types of things. I think every health ailment has some sort of genetic contributor. I'll never be that guy that says genetics fix everything for everyone always. I feel like there's way too many people on Instagram that says, my diet or my supplement is like the only way to go. But I do think whether it's 10% of your issues or 90% of your issues, understanding the genes can be an untapped resource for a lot of people to optimize their human experience of life.
You're incredibly intelligent and amazing. You said you're doing your own program, correct?
Correct.
Were you corporate before?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that risk taking to switch from corporate to doing your own program?
Yeah, absolutely. So I remember it was actually in November on my 30th birthday, I got the notification that I'm going to be getting let go in like 2 months' time. So they basically restructured the company. I still had to finish analyzing some data, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I already kind of started doing this on the side with a couple of clients, basically charging nothing, just seeing if this kind of works out. So I kind of had one foot in the door with it, but I thought a lot about, do I go all in on this, or do I try to get another salary job somewhere while I continue to build it? So putting some feelers out, I decided just to go for it, go all in on it. And it was scary at first. It still feels a little scary because right now all I'm doing, I'm just a one-man show right now, one-person company, and all I do are one-on-ones with people. So it's, it could be highs and lows. If a couple days go by and I'm not working with anyone for a one-on-one, that's pretty much all of the cash flow for the business. But just having faith in it, trying to grow my brand, and honestly, properly educate, because no one's looking at the genes from this type of angle, if that makes sense. Like, the corporate side is looking for that 1 in a million mutation that will guarantee a disease. I look at mutations that sometimes over half the population can have them, and while each individual mutation, so they're more common, they may not be as significant on their own, but when you calculate 10 mutations on one gene, all of them together can be a lot more impactful than people believe. So it was definitely a big jump, but looking back, definitely the best decision I made. What's happened the past year, I can't even imagine what another year will hold with the whole growth and progression of not just, my brand, my business, but just me as a person.
That's awesome. I actually want to touch on you as a person. With me, I'm not all in, but I'm kind of 50-50 with my corporate job. And glad you said you as a person, because I want to talk about how important it is to be, we're in the CLS family, be in rooms with people who think bigger than you do, with people who will help you progress and level up. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely. In the CLS community, and honestly, Craig Siegel, he was one of the driving force. I got on a call with him, didn't know him at all, told him my situation. He's like, I can tell just by talking to you, you got to go for it. You're going to look back and not question a thing. And, these communities and stuff, at first, I didn't really think that, I didn't really believe in these type of paid network communities and stuff. If you told me this, I was going to be doing this 2-3 years ago, I'd be like, what? You don't need that. You know what you're doing enough. But that first event where I met you, it was just so many people viciously trying to network with each other, people that really do want to reach out and help and add value. If they're not going to be your client, they may know somebody, this or that, and have all these connections. And it's just crazy that when you get in the right room with people. You know, like, I know I got a powerful message, I got a loud voice to project this, but, you know, finally be in the right room with the right people, that effort, that networking just goes so much further when people are actually receptive to that and want to help each other.
Yeah, the like-minded is unbelievable. It's a hack, I almost want to say, because when I went to my first event, I went and I actually had no interest. Just I knew I had to get into a room and see why are we paying X amount of money for a conference and I'm not going to a Spider-Man movie. Where's the game?
Yeah.
And I went and I didn't really know the game, to be honest. And then I spent even more money to go to Miami with a couple strangers, slept on the shelf, and that changed my life. Right? So it's like, and then I did this, and this, and I realized it's like a team. Say we're on a football team. If somebody's slacking and nobody really wants to be on the field, are we going to do good at games? If we're not taking practice seriously, we're going to do good at games. It's the team that you're on. So you went all in, which I respect incredibly, and you're incredibly intelligent and driven, and your content's amazing. For somebody at home who doesn't know, should I go all in, or should I, what I want to do, because you didn't know exactly what you want to do, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have to be figure out if you have a clear plan on how you want to try and structure things. I don't have it all figured out, but like, I knew me working with people one-on-one to kind of put some feelers in, and like, I did it for probably around 5 months or so, like with my full-time corporate job, and kind of testing the waters. And the more people I work, like I've done this with friends and family for years in the past. I knew it worked, but at the same point, you know, friends and family are less likely to tell you they're not feeling better. You know what I mean? So I kind of did a proof of concept working with a couple dozen people, and like the vast majority of them, the people I hear back are saying like, I feel so much better. And that was good validation for me that, you know, it really does work for people that, you know, don't have a bias to say, you know, good job, Tyler, I know you my whole life, you know, like, people want you to succeed, but sometimes people closest to you may not tell you the stuff you don't want to hear because they're trying to protect you. So I think would definitely be, before you go all in on that, try to make sure that there's, you know, some, even if it's a minor proof of concept, to see if the business is valid. I think more so, if your clients, patients, if they can get some sort of significant results, even if it's on a small scale, even just a couple dozen people to try that out, you want to make sure that you can properly deliver on the actual outcome. You know, if you're not even sure you can deliver on the outcome yet, I would not be leaving the secure job you have now to go all in on that, because, you know, that could potentially, you know, self-implode, and then you're kind of like, oh, now you're really panicking, you're going to be even more stressed, you're going to be showing up even less for your clients, patients, just because you're going to be so stressed about, you know, how am I going to put food on the table and stuff.
Right. What would one final little bit of motivation you can give, or inspiration to our audience who need to take that next step?
Yeah, I would think, let's see. I probably just have to say, try to figure out what your limiting beliefs are. I think a lot of people suffer with imposter syndrome. I mean, I honestly still do, like, pretty much on a weekly basis, because what I'm doing, no one's doing it from this type of angle or positioning. But try to figure out, you know, why you may not feel worthy. Why do you think that you're not deserving of being able to go all in on your own thing and succeed on that, and try to dissect that. And that's why I think also having people in your corner that can tell you how it is, that you could like vent to properly. Because a lot of the times we're caught up in our own biases of, you know, whether it's our past traumas or this or that, and we may be in our own blind spots. And then when you talk to someone, they may make you realize, wow, the logic in my head that I think makes sense actually doesn't, because I'm kind of in my own way with everything.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sitting down. You guys heard him. Don't be in your own way. Go to a conference, meet people, and know that you need to be the smallest person in the room. You can't be the biggest, because if you're the biggest, you can't learn and grow. I'll see you next time.